Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to panic, but we're about to do Daily Tech News Show.
Oh,
And also, don't panic. But Lamarr Wilson is here. Calm down.
And yeah, no, don't go screaming and running after him, trying to tear pieces of his clothes off. We know, we get it. Stay in
It
your
is what it
seats.
is, guys.
Something. It's a burden you have to live with, Lamarr.
Yes. I live with the burden with the S on my chest every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Super Lamarr or
Go out and soak up the
Xbox.
rays of that yellow sun to strengthen yourself.
Yes. Yes. And that yellow sun creates the power needed to power my new Xbox.
Is the Xbox One S kryptonite powered? Did I read that?
I mean, it could not possibly be.
Yeah, it could not possibly be at all in any way. It's not green, right? There's no green on it.
No. At least not this version. They're gonna have some special editions like Gears of War and some other ones that might have some different. The Gears of War one looks great because I love red and black. But yeah, hopefully I get to unbox it. I won't keep it, but I definitely want to unbox it. Did you tweet? Oh, good. Okay.
The Gears of War one. Yeah, I tweeted it.
Okay.
1:15. I'm getting better about that. Tweeting before I go on. Let people know we're actually doing the show. I have a social media advisor tells me if you let people know you're doing the show, more people will actually take part in watching or listening.
Boy, did you need to pay somebody for that?
Oh yeah, it's like $1,000 an hour to get that.
Like, huh? And if that's the case, I'm gonna need to switch careers really quick.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
I'm doing the wrong thing.
All right, let's get this show on the road. You ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go. Daily Tech News Show is powered by its audience, not outside organizations. To find out more, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2016. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Lamarr Wilson is in the house. Can you believe it's August already? I'm just sorry to be that guy who's just like, wow, time seems to be speeding up.
I was that guy yesterday. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah.
August, man. Feels like it was just January 1st, 2013.
When I worked in schools, it was a year round, so we had to come back in August. So I'm used to working really hard in August.
Oh yeah, you're like the opposite of Europe. You work harder in August rather than taking a month off.
Exactly.
Well, Lamarr was lucky enough to get his hands on an Xbox One S early, so we're going to get your impressions of having played around with that over the weekend here in a little bit. If you could sum it up in one word, would you be able to?
Yes.
That's
you want
word?
me to?
That would be the. Oh, I thought maybe.
I would say sleek.
Sleek. All right. Good.
Sleek's
Yeah, that seems to fit a lot of the reviews I'm seeing. Let's first of all look at some top stories. Samsung had its big New York announcement. A new 5.7-inch Galaxy Note 7 was unveiled as expected. If you were keeping track, they skipped the Note 6. There's a lot of theories as to why. Peter Wells thinks that they just wanted to distance themselves from the Note 5. But yes, the last one was the Note 5. This one's the Note 7. The internals are very similar to the S7 and the S7 Edge. It has IP68 water resistance, although the Note extends its water resistance to the stylus, or the S Pen. The S Pen. They put a micro SD card slot back in the Note. Note 7 has 64 gigs of internal storage, so a little more than the S7. USB-C port, not a USB, an old USB port. 3,500 milliamp hour batteries, about 500 more milliamp hours than the previous Note. Also has an infrared iris scanner that can be used to unlock the phone, use in place of the fingerprint, and they can even use it to lock apps and files in a secure folder. Note 7 will launch with Android 6. They said Android 7 will come someday, but they didn't tell you when. You can get it in black, silver, and blue in the US, or internationally, you can also get it in gold. Pre-orders for the Note 7 begin August 3rd in the US for shipping August 19th, and pricing will vary by carrier, but they said it'd be more expensive than the S7, so at least more than $770.
Yeah, I looked at the Verge's. I didn't get to see the announcement, but I saw the Verge's video on it, the first look, and yeah, it looks fantastic. I mean, they got it's edge to edge basically, and I forgot that the 5 took away the SD card. I thought that was just the Galaxy line that did that, because they got eviscerated for that when they did that. But yeah, I wish well, I kind of wish they would have stuck to their guns, because the performance is better if you can manage the memory internally better, theoretically. But they gave in to the fans, which I guess will help them sell more. Of this, but
it's a nice looking phone. It's funny how the Note used to be this ridiculous size, and now it's just kind of a normal size at 5.7.
I wonder why that happened. I wonder what company came out with one that made it popular to have
just
a big
commodified that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it looks really good.
This iris scanner, I was talking with Beatmaster in our Slack before the show. He's like, come on, man, retina scan. Iris scans can be fooled by pictures. And you have to have like a 1200 DPI photo, and you have to have access to the phone and stuff. It's not something that is going to happen often, but fingerprint scans can be fooled as well with 3D printers, and even like touch conducive paper can fool them. So yes, iris scanner is not the be all end all security option for your device, but it's a nice differential here.
It's a nice gimmick too, just to say you have something extra to layer of security you could use.
They also announced a few other products. The Samsung Gear VR has an updated form factor. They flattened out the touchpad, added a dedicated menu button, increased the field of view from 96 to 101 degrees, and they added USB-C in an interesting way. So you can pull out the little USB-C connector that's inside the Gear VR and replace it with a micro USB connector. So it's not an adapter. Like once the little connector is in there, it stays flush, so it's not going to take up space, which you kind of need it to not take up space if you want your phone to fit in there. So that gives you the ability to use the USB-C on the Note 7, but also use your older Galaxy phones with the micro USB. And then they put a USB-C port on the bottom, which they used to have a regular micro USB port for charging your phone while you're using the Gear VR. The USB-C port will still be able to do that, but it will also be able to carry data. So you might get some people making accessories, maybe controllers.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little upset that I'm a little ignorant on this. I've seen it at E3. I walked past it a few times. The lines are just crazy. I haven't had a chance to play with one of these before. I've only the Oculus and the HTC Vive, but
that's so funny because the Gear VR is the more ubiquitous one. But I think I've only tried it once, versus the Oculus and HTC Vive I've tried multiple times.
Yeah, and do they have an option where you can buy this, get a lower end phone to put in, or do you have to be a Samsung customer with your own phone? Okay.
Yeah, you got to get. I mean,
that's where the problem is.
You've got to get a Samsung phone. They did change the color. It used to be white. It's now dark blue, including dark blue on the inside. A lot of people were distracted by the white on the inside.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Pre-orders are starting tomorrow. $99 for shipping August 19th. And Samsung also announced its Gear 360 VR camera. It's the one they announced at CES. Will go on sale in the U.S. August 19th for $349. And that one you can use to record video and put wherever you want.
Yeah, it's a nice looking camera. Again, it's one of those things like someone finally got that form factor right. But a 360 you put on a desk, but it's only for Samsung products. I mean, of course, people will say the same thing for Apple. If Apple made one, it'd be only for Apple stuff. But I don't know. It looks really cool. I've played with some 360 cameras before, and they were clunky, and they did not look as sleek as this. So I'm happy for Samsung owners. I might have to I just have to buy one just to play with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean we're in the these when what webcams were in 2001, these 360 cameras are now. So it'll be a few years before they get really slick. I'm wondering when the equivalent to you remember what was that? There was the Bloggy from Sony, and there was another one for taking web video that you could then upload to the internet. Those little single-use devices. I'm wondering when we're going to get the equivalent of that. Instagram added a new feature called Stories today that lets you post photos and 10-second videos that disappear after 24 hours. Since ideas and generic names are not protected by intellectual property law, Snapchat will not likely sue. Also, Snapchat still lets you put stickers filters, and lenses, and Instagram doesn't have those yet. Instagram stories will appear in a row at the top of your feed. It'll roll out worldwide for iOS and Android over the next few weeks. Lamarr, I haven't got it yet, but you said you got it right before the show.
I did, and I'm not understanding why people saying they stole from Snapchat. They
because Kevin's sister basically said, "Oh yeah, Snapchat paved the way for this. We're totally
yeah. They could please stole it. No, it looks slick, and it's an update. By the way, if you're looking for a hard update for your apps, it won't come in that way. It's just a server update. They'll update. Yeah, but it has my most frequent friends up there, and then a new button where I can create a snap. I mean, this is kind of what's this light there, but this is the one that's running about cats because they know I like cats, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I can make my own. So I'm actually excited about trying it out because as I was talking to you before the show, one of the reasons I don't like using Snapchat is that it's yet another app, and I'm always trying to minimize, integrate. And I had a vision about this a few days ago.
You've a vision, you say?
It was. I had thought about some type of thing to be in Instagram similar to this, and then they come out with this. So I think Facebook and Instagram are reading my mind, and I have a camera somewhere in my house.
Well, you're the target then, because I look at this as someone who uses Snapchat, and I'm like, not sure why I would use this. I guess it does reduce my need to make the perfect picture on Instagram. And I guess there's some people I know like Lamarr who I have on Instagram, but they don't really use Snapchat. So I can kind of see it. But if you're somebody who doesn't use Snapchat at all and you're looking for a relief from like Instagram photos always have to be so perfect, I don't want them to have to last forever, or I want to do like 12 of them, but I don't want them to stick around in my timeline forever. This is
because that'll irritate people. Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna play with it today.
Google announced its plans to deliver AMP links to all mobile search results. AMP is standing for Accelerated Mobile Pages. This is Google's open source version of Facebook's Instant Articles. It's an open source project on GitHub started by Google to deliver faster loading pages. Google has highlighted app-based news stories in its carousel at the top of mobile search results for a while now. You may have seen that on mobile where you see the little AMP logo or the lightning bolt. You tap on it. And the story comes up really fast. Well, now AMP-enabled links will show up in the main search, and those will show a small lightning bolt by them as well. Google will start with a developer preview of AMP pages in search results before they roll it out to the rest of us later this year. And they said they will not give preferential treatment to AMP pages in search rankings. However, The Verge pointed out that one of the search ranking signals is how fast your page loads. So if your page loads really fast on AMP, that is going to help you in search engine rankings, I would think.
Absolutely. And they totally didn't steal the lightning bolt thing from Twitter, which has Twitter moments that are,
well,
they completely it.
Well, yeah, and Facebook uses the lightning bolt for instant articles. So yeah.
Right.
The universal symbol, I guess.
It is. It is the universal one.
I like there's a really good argument, and The Verge makes this argument that this is unnecessarily complicated and takes away control from the page owner, right? So instead of just making HTML, Google is operating a system that you have to now build separately to AMP enable your pages, and that while it's open source means that I, as a publisher, have a limited number of options in my mobile pages if this catches on, because AMP restricts how many ad units, how many images to get that.
So it can run faster, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
could go. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. So now it's overly complicated for publishers.
Yeah. I was just thinking I could end up causing some problems as fairness. I guess people like this company has more resources, they can do this, so Google treats them better. It's
an argument for Google using its dominant position in search maybe you think it's a good thing to say, hey, reduce the complexity on those pages so I don't have to use an ad blocker, and I'll see your ads more often, they'll load faster, they'll use less of my data, everybody wins. And granted, it is an open source project, and Google's letting anybody use it who wants, but it's Google putting it in its search results that really drives it forward. And it's not standard. It's not an HTML standard. It's a standard that Google created on top of that. Yes, now you've got if you're a super publisher, you have to have a Facebook instant article version, an HTML version, and an AMP version, and a mobile responsive version in case somebody's not using Google and searching for it.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I used to build websites, and I'm glad I got out of that game.
Well, I mean, when I did a Daily Tech News show was I went and found a plugin for WordPress and said, make an AMP version of all my pages. And it does make an AMP version of all my posts.
Okay.
But that's not going to be good enough for somebody like The Verge, who has like loads of decisions to make about what ads they want to show up in this thing and stuff.
Absolutely.
TP-Link admitted violating U.S. radio frequency rules by selling routers that allowed users to change the country code and then operate at power levels beyond approved U.S. limits. So you could just go in there. You didn't have to prove you were in a country. You could change the country code on your router and get a little extra range out of it while violating FCC rules at the same time.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, apparently you could, but you can't anymore. TP-Link is going to pay $200,000, comply with rules going forward. They've pushed firmware out to fix that option. So you have to use old firmware if you want that option and break the law. And interestingly, in their agreement with the FCC to be punished, they agreed to allow customers to install open source firmware on their routers. And why that's interesting, if you remember, recently the FCC put in rules that require vendors to prevent third-party software from changing certain things that cause radio interference. A lot of companies, instead of writing the extra code to prevent open source router software like OpenWRT from being able to access the radio frequencies, instead just said, we're not going to allow third-party software. And a lot of people said, the FCC is waging war on open source software because they put through this rule that effectively encourages companies to limit the kind of firmware I could put on my router. There were exemptions. Linksys, for instance, routers are accommodating the new rules and allowing third-party open source software. But this settlement, which has nothing to do with that radio frequency, it has to do with a power thing that's totally separate. This settlement requires TP-Link to allow third-party firmware to be installed. So the FCC is using the settlement to show it does not, at least it's trying to say, look, see, we don't want to prevent consumers from using open source software. We made TP-Link do this, even though it has nothing to do with their violation.
Okay. Yeah, that's confusing, but I know I followed along, but that's just like,
it's a weird thing because, I mean, if you don't understand the difference between the two violations, it's like, well, they violated something with the router and they have to do something else. I get it. But it's basically like saying you use too many volts, and so in punishment, you have to allow third-party software on your router.
They're basically using them as an example since they already had them for over the knee for one issue already. That's what the confusing part was.
Yeah, and now there's another router manufacturer involuntarily saying, hey, if you're an OpenWRT user or some other third-party router software user, now you've got another option. I'll be curious to see if TP-Link sees an uptick in their sales because of that. And will that uptick lead to revenue more than $200,000, which is what they paid the fine?
I like the way you think.
Finally, on Monday, Japan's NHK began the first TV satellite broadcast in 8K resolution. Lamarr.
What?
Yeah, 8K broadcast.
I'm throwing away my Xbox.
Yeah, throw away your Xbox, throw away your TV, and just get ready to watch NHK. Now, some of the programming is in 4K, but they have lots of 8K content at 7680 by 4320. Supports 22.2 channel audio. They only broadcast from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m., but they're doing a lot of content in advance of the Olympics, and the whole point is to be able to show Olympic coverage in 8K once the Olympics start later this week. Here's a problem, though, Lamarr.
Yeah.
Do you have an 8K television?
No, I barely have a 4K one.
Yeah. You can't get an 8K television because I don't think there are any on the market.
Are there some Japan models? I feel like at E3, they
no.
always come out with one that is a reference model, but never.
Yeah, you could definitely find one on the floor at CES.
I think Sharp had an 8K.
Had a couple on display, but not for sale. Not for you to take home. So so NHK is having to install public viewing stations around the country so that you can watch this. And I love this because I do a book called The Year in Tech History. I do daily posts called Today in Tech History. And it's always fun to see, like, the first television broadcast took place in August. And one of the things they did was install televisions in local shops so that people could watch it because nobody had a television. And here we are, history repeating itself.
Doing the exact same thing. Yeah. It's like, when I first read this, like, oh man, Japan is really ahead. They've already killed 4K and 8K, and it's like, yeah, no one has that. But I mean, how long do you think before consumers in the house after that? And what's the point
years. Yeah.
At this point?
It's
good for a big like in a bar or something, or like they're probably going to have it over certain stores, whatever. Like a big, 100, 200 inches maybe. I mean, that would be great for 4K, so a lot of people can see it. I mean, 8K.
No, 8K is going to be excellent for large screens. It will allow you to get up close to your television and see detail instead of pixels, which is kind of insane, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can zoom in by just walking up to your TV. it won't fuzz out on you. That was Sharif Sark from Engadget on 8K television at CES one year and told me on Tech News Today that he was like, it's amazing. No, he's like, it's brilliant because you can actually just walk up. It's like almost like walking up to a photo instead of walking up to a television.
That is scary.
Yeah. So it's cool in that respect, and it convinced me that, like, I think I might just hold out on 4K until 8K comes along, which is going to be a long time, though. Maybe
and that's good. That's good.
NHK always does this. NHK always finds whatever they did it with HD in the 80s. They were doing
really?
high def broadcast. Yeah, they always do it well ahead to kind of show off their technical chops. Thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. It definitely helps us put together a fine show every day. AU Tiger Fan helped us out. Strike It Rich 1, Motang, Go Share, Steve I.O., Funk Around was in there today, and more. Get in there, submit some stories, and vote at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. That's a look at our top stories. Let's get to this Xbox One S. I know I just bummed you out because I'm like 8K, and the whole deal with the Xbox One S is it can show video in 4K.
I don't even want, I want to just toss this out where's the window? I just want to
Don't do it, Lamarr. Don't do it.
I'll hold up to it for the sake of the show.
It's too small.
it will hurt no one.
It won't break the window. It'll just bounce off.
Like, compared to me, it is really tiny. But go ahead. Let's get some features.
Oh, yeah. So no, Xbox One S, 40% smaller than the original, integrated power supply, and 4K HDR video, but not gameplay. So
it will have some upscaling.
Yeah, Eurogamer Digital Foundry did some tests on it, and basically the GPU's clock speed is 914 megahertz, 7.1% faster than the Xbox One's 853 megahertz GPU. This GPU can do 2.4 teraflops, which is up from 1.31. That's still less than the PS4, which does 1.84. And according to Microsoft, upclocking the graphics core is essentially what they needed to do to get that real-time non-HDR version of the game DVR feature, streaming and screenshots. So they did enough to make it play video, but not enough to do real-time game rendering.
Right, and they weren't trying to do they weren't trying to do that in this version. Go ahead.
So, is it really feel smaller?
Oh yeah, I did a unboxing of it. I've had this since Friday, and I did an unboxing of it, and absolutely small. I put this one on top of the other one, and as I'm doing the video, I'm like, wow, like it's definitely smaller. They managed to get the power situation solved where you don't have that big brick anymore. So it's just one plug that you plug in. Smaller, as Roger was saying before the show, could lead to some other problems. When it's bigger, they had more room for the fan, as Roger was saying. So it ended up being quieter. Now they have to ramp the fan up, especially with 4K, and I'm sure there's some heating issues there. The reason I say that is that although I've had no problems with this, I have noticed when I pause my TV, I hear it. And not as loud as the 360, like an airplane taking off, like you said. But
because the 360 used to drown out the airport next door. So it's not that bad. Good.
No. But it was noticeable. Like I paused and I was like, wait a minute, is that the Xbox? And it was weird because I've never heard my one. So I don't think that's a deal breaker, but it is something to understand and know that you will hear this one. And I guess that's a sacrifice for making it more compact and getting rid of of that fan as well.
Now, the other thing Eurogamer was saying is you've got about a 9 frame per second in the moment differential between the two consoles. In essence, the difference is rather like a factory overclocked PC. Did you notice that in playing any of the games on it? Did it feel like it was quicker, better, less lag, etc.?
No, I felt that the interface of their main dashboard was a little snappier. Like I played Star Wars Battlefront. I played the new Technomancer. I played Call of Duty. I ran through the apps. The Netflix app had 4K available. Amazon at the time did not, so I wasn't able to look at their 4K. But yeah, everything seemed about the same with gaming. I don't have a 4K disc; it just has the Blu-ray. I was really excited to do that, so I'm gonna probably run out to Best Buy today or tomorrow to get that. But I gotta say, I looked at prices of 4K Blu-ray players. This is the cheapest one out there.
Well, that's $399, right, for the 2 terabytes. Yeah,
right. And the 500 gigabyte one, which comes out a little bit later, will be $299. So I mean, and I'm seeing these are going for $200 to $400, these 4K Blu-ray players. So like, if you just want a new age Blu-ray player, can't really beat this right now.
Beatmaster in our chat room has a fair point. He's like, does that fan noise disqualify it as a high-end home theater source though? Like, was it bothersome while you were watching videos?
No, I did. That's the thing. I didn't hear anything. Well, even at low volume, I don't hear it. The only time I heard it was I hit mute, and I noticed a hum in the house that I normally don't hear.
Okay.
Because I'm real sensitive to the noises around me.
So most of us wouldn't notice it. Maybe like super audiophiles might. But.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to be sitting really close to it. I'm sitting 8 to 10 feet from it, and yeah, even at low volume, I don't hear it at all. Like there's some machines that you can tell that it's on, and I remember the 360.
So you're not going to see a whole lot of gameplay difference in this. Maybe a tiny bit if you're really paying attention. But you got actual 4K HDR video, and you said you watched it on Netflix. You've got a 4K TV. I mean,
I do. I have an older 4K. Yeah. I mean, it looks as well as the 4K app that's built into my Vizio. I have a 2014 Vizio, so it doesn't have the HDR. It only has one port for the 60 hertz. So I was able to plug this in, thank goodness. So yeah, in all honesty, the new games that come out, Gears of War 4 and a couple other games will take advantage of the HDR capability, and it'll take advantage of, I believe, the faster processor. So the newer games will start to see a parity difference. But in general, as I said in the video, this is for people if you're sitting on a 360, you're looking to upgrade, you want to do it this year. It doesn't make sense to get the one. Just go ahead and get this one. If you're an Xbox One person that you have a 4K TV and you want 4K because you don't have it any other way, it's one to look at. But I'm gonna be honest, I said in a video, and Microsoft did send this to me, by the way, for review, for free, for review. So I do want to disclose that. But as I said in the video, honestly, if you have an Xbox One and it's working fine, and your power cord is out the way, and there's nothing compelling in this, especially if you don't have 4K to buy it. I don't think it's gonna make your games that much better. As the advertised Scorpio will.
It sounds like the only choice is I don't have an Xbox One and I don't have a 4K TV, and I'm looking to buy an Xbox. Do I get the One S for say $249 later this month for the 500 gigabyte, or do I get the Xbox One for $199 from Best Buy and save myself, $50?
Yeah, it'll be $299. Are they going to lower it to $249? I
think it's $249 unbundled. I think the $299 is the bundled price.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But you may not be able to find it unbundled for a while too. So
yeah, I always say get the latest thing if it's not that much of a difference.
It's worth that $50 unless you just don't have that $50.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna invest in it, go in and get the latest one. The controller, the controller's great. It has a Bluetooth, so you can use the controller not for the Xbox, but for Windows 10 for your PC. So no longer do you have to have that big extension to make a wireless controller work. It's double the range on the Xbox One S. So if it was 20 feet in your house, now it's 40. You can go outside and still control you. I
You
don't know why you
like
would.
head down to the corner store and keep playing. Okay, good.
Yeah, but but what it's used for is having a headset on, and I would go to another side of the house and keep talking to someone, and it'll go out. Now that probably won't happen. And they got some. Did you talk about the Cortana stuff when you were?
Well, no. Before we get off the controller, though, like otherwise,
Okay.
it's just the textured grip and the new thumb and the new thumbstick design. Does that make any difference to you? Did you notice a big difference?
It felt good. It felt good.
Okay.
It's. I didn't notice the thumbs as much as I did notice the texture grip, which I guess helps you hold it a little bit better. I didn't really see a big difference.
Yeah, and the new summer software update came today for all the Xbox Ones.
Yeah, I did.
And it's got the big thing is Cortana now. I was talking to Cortana earlier today on my Xbox, and so that has definitely improved the voice recognition. Although if you like the current Xbox voice recognition, you can keep it. You can go into settings and turn off Cortana and go with the regular one. There's also a few other things in there: background music support, region-free language choice. Did the Xbox One S come with the update?
Yes. Well, no. I had to download it when I got it. I do want to say something about the Kinect. I had the Kinect in the last one. A lot of people don't have the Kinect. It does not come with the ability to plug in the Kinect. You have to get an Abide adapter, which then plugs in the USB. I thought about it and I looked at how much I use the Kinect, and I said, I don't use it that much to even bother with that. So I took the Kinect off, and I haven't used it this weekend. I can still use Cortana if I put a headset on to talk to her. But other than that, I thought about it. It's like I use it to say open Twitch, and I think that's it. I think maybe open YouTube. I say 2 commands, and so to me, it just wasn't worth the extra power.
We We run our TiVo, which has an over-the-air signal on it, through the Xbox One, and so we use the voice commands.
Oh, interesting.
To like watch TV. Like if we turn on the Xbox and it's still on the menu or on a game or something, it's the easier way to do that. Eileen uses that all the time. We'll even use it occasionally to pause because it'll be able to control the TiVo.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So that is option. You do have to buy the dongle for that, but
for the Xbox One S.
Yeah. Other than that, sleek is still my word. I think it's sleek. I think it looks cool. I don't really, as I said in the video, I don't really care too much about. Once it's in my TV cabinet, I don't really care what what it looks like or how big it is. But for those who do care, they did provide a solution for you, and I think it's a good investment so far. I haven't had any glitches or anything. So yeah.
So yeah, if you don't have an Xbox One and you want one, or you have a 4K TV now and you want a source for it, there you go. Those are your 2 use cases. Otherwise, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Thank you, Lamarr. I appreciate taking a look at that. Yeah. Our pick of the day comes from Tyler, who says, look, you guys have been having a lot of discussions about stock prices. It was earnings week for a couple of weeks there. He says, so I want to recommend Yahoo Finance for anybody who wants to get quick stock prices or historical data. I've been using it since I took a finance course in college back in 2006. Now I track a nonprofit's endowment and compare it to benchmarks that reflect similar holdings. Yahoo Finance's historical price section easily downloads into Excel where I can play with the numbers. I'm sure there are programs or websites that could do all this for me, but I love to work with the raw data on my own, and I can get it from Yahoo Finance. So there you go.
I used Yahoo Finance back in the day. I didn't buy stocks, but just to learn about stocks. I've always been a fan of Yahoo's little, apps, not apps, but their sites like this. So good choice. It's a really good site even today.
Thank you, Tyler. Send us your picks, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find more picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Real quickly, William Madison at blindinsight.com, talking about Uber, said it would be great if Uber would build into its profile and notification system to the drivers that the rider is blind or maybe deaf or any other kind of accessibility requirement. Because if you're blind, you won't be able to see the driver, and additional assistance may be needed. I've gone back to calling a cab so that their dispatch can relay the information that I'm blind, so the driver won't just pull up and expect me to see him and get in the car. Highly accurate maps and GPS would also help drivers see where the disabled individual is.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. There's another thing about Uber I didn't know. I had to ask a driver. They don't see our picture. Like, you put your profile picture in, they have no idea what you look like when they pull up. And I always thought they did. I don't know, maybe Uber does that to avoid discrimination if they see someone they don't want to pick up. But I think in this situation, that would be helpful for the driver to see okay, this is what the person looks like. This, and safely be able to pick them up if they have a disability. Absolutely.
Now, John Weeb Dykstra wrote in from sunny Salisbury, New Brunswick, Canada. And I had sworn I was done talking about John Deere tractors after we strung that conversation out for a few days. But he said, as I sit in my John Deere 7330 piling grass silage, I'm happy you gave a shout out to the many farmers listening to podcasts. Whether driving tractors or milking cows, I love to keep up with the tech news. That being said, I believe the reason that John Deere is so adamant not to let farmers work on their tractors is that it saves them time, effort, and money when designing new tractors. They've moved to utilizing software to limit the capability of a range of tractors. And I know a couple of you already mentioned this, but John has a really clear description. He says, a series or range of tractors might have 5 models, but instead of putting 5 different sized engines in them, they want to put the same large engine in all 5 and reduce the horsepower. Comes down to the fact that John Deere doesn't want to let farmers overclock their tractors. It's all about protecting their investment. So you buy a bigger tractor that has the same engine as the smaller one. And there are a similar situation with certain processors where they'll just turn off a core and sell it as a processor with fewer cores. And they'll even sell you an in-place upgrade to a quad core if you only have 3 cores running.
I never thought I'd hear about a tractor having software and overclocking. That is.
No, I know. I love that. So thank you, John, for sending that to us. And finally, Evan Koblenz, president of the Vintage Computer Federation, wanted us to remind you that the Vintage Computer Festival West is this weekend. It last ran 9 years ago under a former owner, and Evan's group, as a nonprofit, acquired it last fall. So if you're in the Bay Area, August 6th through the 7th, this weekend, at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, California, you can learn about CP/M versus MS-DOS. See some early computer gaming. It's a trip back in time. It's all pretty cool. All of the event details are at vcfed.org if you want to take a look at it. I love that kind of stuff myself.
I was going to say, I have a feeling you're going to be taking a drive.
I would like to. Yeah, absolutely. So check that out, VCFed, for Vintage Computer Federation, vcfed.org. Thank you, Lamarr Wilson. Of course, if you want to see the unboxing of the Xbox One S, head to youtube.com/Lamarr Wilson. What else you got on over there?
This week, if you ever wanted to know about the Philips Hue light bulbs, I'm going to be installing a bunch of these. They sent them out, which I was grateful for because they're not cheap. And I'll be installing those for the first time. I'm trying to get this house to be completely smart. I already have the Nest and all that. So if you want to see that, I think that'll be out Saturday. So make sure you subscribe. We go to youtube.com/Lamarr Wilson. I do all kind of unboxings and showcases of cool products, but that's going to be one of my favorite ones. Getting those light bulbs and stuff.
Yeah. I've got a couple of LifeX bulbs, and I've gone through periods of rage and periods of love with them. So I'll be interested to see how the Philips ones treat you. Justin's got a bunch of Philips bulbs he uses as well.
Oh, does he? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Thanks to everybody who supports the show. DailyTechNewsShow.com/support allows us to keep doing the show, bring on great people like Lamarr, go to things like CreateCon. If you want to continue to support us, head to DailyTechNewsShow.com/support. And if you want some perks like that Slack channel I was mentioning earlier, that and more available at Patreon.com/DTNS. We also have a headlines only show at DailyTechHeadlines.com. You get all the headlines in just less than 10 minutes a day. Our email address is feedback@DailyTechNewsShow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. Catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at AlphaGeekRadio.com and DiamondClub.tv. Our website is DailyTechNewsShow.com. Back tomorrow with Scott Johnson and Peter Wells. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
That was great.
Is that the Peter Wells from New York Times? Because it's not from.
No, it's Peter Wells from the Sydney Morning Herald.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who does Day 6 for DTNS, the Australian version of the show.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen before. I had to look him up. So wait a minute, I know a couple of Peter Wells names.
It is not the Peter Weller who was the RoboCop either.
Oh, okay, that's a relief.
Yeah, different guy.
Yeah, but no, yeah, great show. Thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, man. Thank you for being on. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
and for sharing your Xbox wisdom with us.
Yeah, I know. Roger was like dying to go and play. Talk about the inners of the of the fan and all that. It would have been great because I don't know any of that.
All right, titles. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Man, this thing. Sometimes I think I have it figured out, and then it just goes 360 or 180.
The S stands for sleek. Oh no, okay, you're giving titles. I'm sorry.
That's a good
my
one,
titles. My eyes are up here. Samsung. Snapgram. Less notable note. Google AMP goes to 11. Ha. Moshi Moshi 8K. You like sleek box? Was that what you were saying?
The S stands for sleek.
The S stands for sleek. Yeah, stands for sleek.
I think you, Lamarr, you just made that one up, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. I was looking for a second.
I am amazing when I can and I need to be. So
S stands for sleek.
I'm gonna go with that. I like it.
All right. Thank you.
Nobody wins but Lamarr today.
It's Lamar's birthday party. He gets.
Hey, I got a free Xbox. I am partying today.
No kidding, man. You should be.
Yeah, I mean the thing, and I told my Xbox contact, they knew that, like the day it got announced, I was there at the show, and then right on my phone I went right to Amazon and pre-ordered. They saw it. It's like I think we'll take care of you, but I was like I'm pre-ordering anyway because I don't depend on them. And yeah, they surprised me, so good stuff. And I'll be donating my Xbox One to a family that
is Xbox One-less.
Yeah, they have an older machine, so it's like be a good thing
for you.
Yeah,
I did that with my PS3 when I got the PS4. I sent the PS3 to my brother.
That works.
Yeah.
Trying to do YouTube actually hates giveaways on YouTube, and I hate doing them because they're, it technically is illegal to do international, but if you tell your international audience that you can't do international,
then they'll
hate you. Yeah, and so you can't win. And so like, my manager said, well, just don't do them. And I was like, yeah, I mean that's.
Well, is it a giveaway because it's a contest, or what makes
even like I think they're pretty. I don't know what the specific rules on it, but any kind of giveaway.
Any giveaway of a particularly valuable nature requires a set of rules. And Tech TV back in 2000, our standard was if it's worth more than $25, you have to have rules.
That's a good law.
But it varies. Like YouTube's probably more strict because they don't want to have to police that, so they may just put a blanket on it.
Yeah, we used to basically say it was a giveaway and that anyone was free to win it no matter where they were as long as they sent any.
Well, you have to, if it's a giveaway, you still, and it's more than $25 though, we still had to have rules and we couldn't allow outside, non-domestic entrants. You had to not you had to not do anything of skill. It had to be just a random drawing situation.
Random. Always random.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So they're on YouTube. They're just painting the butt, and then we have a situation where a lot of people have like lied about their giveaways. They've cheated. Say, hey, I'm giving away a bunch of these, and then they don't, or just all the scams. So it's just a kind of a culture of mistrust with those. Anyways, I just rather not be part of that.
No, I hear you.
At all. Yeah. I give away good tidings in every video. That's the giveaway.
I'm doing a short series, and I didn't have a new episode last week, so I already broke my first rule of regularity. But it's called "What Is That?" where I just hold something up on my YouTube channel.
I saw that. No, I like that.
And I gave away an ebook because that's easy.
Oh yeah, that's digital. That's fine. Yeah,
it's digital. I can give it very easily with just a link.
I've done gift cards occasionally to people who are in other countries, especially if they want something. At the time when I was doing giveaways and I want something and I couldn't ship it to them for whatever reason, I just say, here, I'll give you the Amazon value. But it's still a pain in the butt. I rather.
It is. Well, the logistics of all that. I remember the prize closet at Tech TV, Roger. We had to keep a closet full of prizes we would give away, and then you'd have to remember to ship them and get somebody to put them in boxes and send them out, and then keep track of whether you sent them out or not. Oh yeah, it was always the interns.
Wow. I don't think Roger remembers the closet.
The closet?
The prize closet.
Oh,
you weren't
yeah,
listening, were you?
He wasn't listening.
Sorry, I was reading this email.
Uh-huh.
You're like, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The closet. Yeah.
Closet. Yeah, we came out of the closet a long time ago.
No, we were talking about giveaways and prize closets and stuff.
Are you talking about the? You're just talking in general, but not talking about the one.
I was talking about the Tech
Screensavers.
TV prize closet and how much of a mess it was.
Well, so there was a generic one, but there was also like Call for Help had a show specific one. We had our own closet, which was under my desk.
Right. Well, right, because
And it was funny 'cause-
you'd have to go find Robin Hueseveld if you wanted to get anything out of the Tech TV one. So you needed to have your own for the shows because it wasn't always convenient.
We Screensavers and Call for Help because of the shows we're able to basically manage our own prize giveaways on the show because we did a daily one. We had the little wall, and then all those prizes were by feet.
And you did the fridge magnet thing, and
That was the fridge. The fridge magnet thing was Screens, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, but we would send people the fridge magnet too. That was
Oh
great.
yeah. We give them. There's a lot of.
I want a
many.
fridge magnet. There's probably
I
still
think I
some
still
left
have
somewhere.
one.
Yeah,
I have one. I
bet you
think
do.
somewhere.
Oh man.
We had a boatload of things that we didn't give away at the end when G4 moved everyone down, and I just called all the vendors it's like I'm gonna return this stuff because we can give it away. I knew a couple of people wanted them, but it's like nah, it's not cool.
Well, I remember Intel did a deal where they wanted us to give away their net cams. This was when Intel started to do hardware briefly.
Oh, I
They were
remember
doing
net
like little
cams.
sound effects things and digital net cams and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they stopped, and we weren't allowed to give away the Intel net cams because there was a different sponsor. So there were all these net cams just taking up space in the closet, and I was allowed to take them and use them at my wedding. So we used those instead of the disposable cameras on all the tables.
You had an Intel sponsored wedding, but you didn't get paid by Intel.
Yeah, Intel didn't pay us anything for it.
Wow.
we
That's funny.
had some pretty good deals going in terms of like partnerships with product giveaways and stuff. And it's always random. I mean, random in so much to where I would, on the game board. It was interesting. It was fun. And the thing is, most of them were pretty inexpensive. They would be like, hey, you want like 90% of the prizes were called T-shirts. Want a T-shirt? You win a T-shirt. Like the grand prize would be like, oh, you win a Sound Blaster USB sound card. Woo, you're a winner. Here's your $60 prize. Give us your address.
Wait, tell me USB sound cards didn't really exist.
Yeah, they still do. What are you talking about?
I'm using one right now.
Are you okay? Wow. Yeah, my stuff was always internal. I didn't.
USB
Didn't notice.
sound cards were the outgrow. They've always existed for professional recorders because they want.
Oh. Okay.
Originally, they were FireWire. USBs didn't come around until later, until USB 2.0. But it was just easier for. If you're a recording artist or a music producer, you don't want to climb over your equipment and take out your box that you have your digital audio workstation on and plug in the new card and all that. So it was just easier, especially for people with laptops. You don't have PCI.
No, that makes sense.
And the reason I'm using one is that the computer I'm on only has mini jack in and out, and I don't like that. It causes interference problems. So I have a little Behringer USB sound card that allows me to go RCA in and out to my mixer.
Okay. I retract.
They're actually really handy, and especially if you're an audiophile, you can get some really not custom, but you can get some pricier models that are designed specifically for headphone use. They're basically high-end DACs with super awesome Japanese, high capacitors that don't leak after 10 years, and they're like little like if you pack like a bunch of playing card decks together about that size. But they work really well, and it's just you take it out of an environment where it's really noisy to one where I think traveling is the digital signal, which won't be corrupted anyway. So it's good for some people. I mean, like for the most part, the whole reason of having an internal separate sound card really doesn't exist anymore, other than people having a legacy card, because nothing in Windows is like audio isn't accelerated anymore, right? Like you don't get hardware accelerated sound because Windows. I mean, you can use third-party drivers for that, but Windows doesn't support it ever since Vista. They dropped that to increase the stability of Windows by dropping it out of the kernel.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you wake up Roger. You mentioned sound
card. I used to be super into
I learned a lot. Thank you.
I used to have 8 for some reason. I just collect them because I used to have to build all the machines on screensavers. It's like I got all these stupid stuff. Go ahead.
My weird collection was routers. And my friend can attest to this. I would go to Fry's Electronics in Illinois every weekend to stare and look at the newest routers, because it was at the time where I think it was like 2008, 2009, where HD streaming in the house was still something that was struggling and wasn't a thing, and I was always trying to be the first person to figure it out. I was tweaking and going in and trying to. Yeah, so I had like 5 routers at one time in the house trying to go back and forth. It was weird.
I mean, they still are, but they're inexpensive. Like you could buy routers for less than $50.
Yeah, I did get. I was really into D-Link. I got a couple D-Links that were like $250, which was pretty high for at the time. Yeah.
Did you ever get into any of that third-party firmware then, like OpenWRT or Tomato?
No, I knew about it. I knew about the Linksys when I never got into the that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you were like, no, I knew some guys who did that and really tore apart their life. So.
Yeah, and then the pre-in was frustrating because I wanted the official, and it was a weird time in my life where that was my collect. That was the thing I was into.
Yeah, no.
What was the weirdest? There was a time when I had. What was the? I had six. I had 7 machine computers in my house. I had 3 PCs and 4 Macs. I had two Mac Quadras. I had a Power Mac, and I had like a Power Mac clone, and I had like 4 monitors. And it's like, why do I have all this stuff in my house? Because it was just clean. Because there's a lot of stuff that our IT department at Tech TV was just literally like giving away. Because it's like, dude, we need to get rid of it. If you want it, take it. It's like, oh, great. It's like, I'll get this Mac Quadra from 1995. It's gonna be cool. Because it's like 2000, so it's still pretty recent. And I snagged a bunch of like low capacity SCSI drives and boards. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. Yes. Because at the time when you're a college student, you can't afford crap, right? You're literally eating ramen noodles every night to pay rent at the end of the month. It's like you finally fall into a bonanza of like computer gear. It's like, oh, I'm gonna take all of it.
Wait, is that why all of us have high blood pressure now? All the salty ramen.
I'm ashamed to admit that my blood pressure isn't high, but it's on the high side of normal, and so I'm being very judicious about, especially as I get older, about my diet.
Yeah.
It
was okay to eat crap back then.
Yeah. Oh man, remember when you didn't have to think about what you ate? Now we're just turning into an old men show, but I could eat all the Hydrox I wanted back then.
Well,
God.
I've always known that instant ramen is any kind of instant ramen noodles, doesn't matter if it's Korean, Japanese, or Chinese or whatever. Horrible for you.
It's
no nutrition, high in salt, high in cholesterol. They're just bad for you.
I would just eat the uncooked noodles, though. That was
doesn't matter. No. Those are just as bad. To make that
crispy treat.
Actually, that's not unusual. At least in junior high, a bunch of the Chinese kids used to do that. We take it and smash it into pieces. It's already cooked. It's just cooked. It's just super flash with a big thing of oil, and it's bleached.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah. Oh, Tom.
Don't eat it. If you want ramen, get real ramen. Like where they actually have fresh.
Oh, I'm going to real ramen. A year or two ago, I had my first bowl of real ramen, and I was blown away. I was a little off. What's the word? Put off by the.
Put off.
Yeah, by the egg. No, the egg that was in there, because I don't like over easy eggs at all.
No, I love that.
But egg. it was too late. But I mixed it up and it was fine. But like I don't like seeing yolk ever.
If you crack it right away, then it kind of cooks. So.
Yeah, it was cooked. Trust me, I wouldn't. Yeah. would have had any other way. But yeah, it was really tasty.
Yeah, I love ramen. It was funny though when all I knew was Top Ramen. And the first time I saw a ramen store, I laughed, and people were like, "No, man, it's really good. Like it's not what you're thinking."
I found out about real ramen not from a restaurant, but from watching the anime on Naruto.
Oh, really?
That's because he would eat ramen really fast, and so like and it was like a running joke in the show, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Because they had so much stuff, and I was like, "That's ramen?
That's not what my Top Ramen looks like."
That's not it. Yeah, it's like exactly. It says shrimp flavor, not actual shrimp.
Yeah. Well, that was I remember the first time I bought Top Ramen, and I was like, "Wait, there's no shrimp in here. I've been fooled."
No, there's shrimp. It's just the dried essence that they grind out.
Brine shrimp, maybe. Yeah.
No.
I mean, for 10 cents a packet.
Have you ever had shrimp chips?
Oh yeah.
Those are great. It's basically they take the prawns and they process it and they grind them into powder.
I know.
Dust it on everything. They're so good. Crappy Asian not fast food, junk food.
Junk food, yeah.
And it's so bad for you. It's so bad for you, but it's so good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with Scott Johnson and Peter Wells tomorrow. Have a lovely day and spray some chrome in your mouth. Mad Max style.